In the Bible, in the book of Matthew, there's a story about a time when Jesus taught his followers many things about getting along with each other and following God. Jesus' followers remembered what Jesus said and wrote them down. They did this so that other people like us could learn from them. Some of the things that Jesus said are known as the Beatitudes, and our puppet friends have begun to study them in Sunday school. As we found out, our puppet friends take following Jesus very seriously and often have questions. Fortunately, they have wise older friends like Pastor Joanne to answer those questions. Today, Charlotte and Jacob are going to learn from Pastor Joanne about the third of these Beatitudes. Blessed are the meek. Let's watch.
Charlotte, hold up. I want to ask you something.
What do you want to know, Jacob?
I want to know if you're all right.
Of course I'm all right. What made you ask that question?
Well, I've noticed over the past couple of days that you've changed, and I thought that something might be wrong, that maybe you were sick or worried or something.
I'm confused. What has changed?
Well, in class, you haven't been raising your hand to answer questions lately, which is really strange because you always know the answers, even when the rest of us don't.
Well, I'm not talking in class because I want to be meek like Jesus wants me to be. Do you remember in the Beatitudes it said that the meek were blessed?
So meek means being quiet? I don't remember our teacher saying that.
Well, she didn't exactly say that. She said we'd talk about it later. But I know what meek means because my aunt told me. Being meek means being quiet.
Charlotte, that just doesn't sound right. I'm not sure Jesus wants people to not say things. After all, in Sunday school, we read all sorts of stories about Jesus asking questions and wanting people to answer them. I think we need to find Miss Joanne and ask her.
I'd like that because when I know the answer, it's hard for me not to answer.
Hey, you two. How are you today?
Hey, Miss Joanne, is it true that Jesus never wants people to give answers in class? He wants them to be quiet?
Jacob, I don't quite understand why you're asking that. Where did you learn that?
Ms. Joanne, what Jacob is talking about is this. I've been trying to be very meek, like Jesus wants me to be, so I'm not sticking up my hand in class to answer questions anymore.
Oh, Charlotte, how did you learn what meek means?
My aunt told me. She just said that it means being quiet.
Well, I like it when you answer questions because that works for us. And it's not nice when you're quiet in class because the rest of us miss it.
I would agree, Jacob. Charlotte, I'm not sure exactly why your aunt feels that way, but being meek in the Bible is a little different than the kind of meek your aunt is talking about. In the Bible, someone who's being meek is someone who listens to God first and listens to others second. So my question to you would be, is being quiet in class and not raising your hand, is that listening to God first, or is that listening to your aunt first?
Well, God gave me my brain, and so I think maybe God wants me to give answers in class. When I give answers, I feel good and helpful, and I like that.
And exactly. And that's being meek like Jesus taught, where we share the gifts that we're given and we don't hide them away.
I'm glad because being quiet all the time is really hard.
So, you're going to start answering questions again?
I think so. I think that's what God wants me to do.
Yay!
So, being meek doesn't mean being quiet all the time. Being meek means listening to God first and friends second, so that we can fully use the gifts that God has given us.